You have heard about the Buckingham Palace, but have you seen this? What if I told you that in less than 2 hours north of London you could stumble upon a secret, a hidden gem that's more breathtaking than the famous Buckingham Palace? In this video, we'll explore this magnificent estate together. By the end, I'll explain why Waddesdon Manor blows Buckingham Palace out of the water as a must-visit tourist attraction. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. I've been in a lucky position where I had the chance to visit Buckingham Palace, at least from the outside, and I really wasn't impressed with it. The hordes of tourists completely ruined my experience, but I found a place which is much better than Buckingham Palace. Welcome to Waddesdon Manor. As always, you will find timestamps in the description, so you can jump to the section that you are interested in, but I recommend you to watch the whole video. Chapter 1. Meet the family behind the fortune. To truly understand the wealth behind this grand estate, we have to travel back in time. The year is 1839, the birth of a man who founded the manor, Baron Ferdinand de Rothschild. If you are thinking, oh, that makes sense, because the Rothschild family is one of the wealthiest families in the world, well, you'd be correct. While it's difficult to estimate the full extent of their wealth, Ferdinand inherited a considerable fortune. Naturally, funding an extravagant project like Waddesdon Manor wasn't that big of a deal for him, most likely. Today, the Rothschild family, particularly the French branch, is renowned for its vast vineyards and wine production. However, young Ferdinand's ambitions lay elsewhere. Chapter 2. The making of a legacy. After inheriting his father's wealth, Ferdinand purchased this land, already familiar to him from his fox hunting trips in the region, but there was a small problem. At that time it was nothing but a barren hill. No trees, no grand estate, just open land. The previous owner, the impoverished Duke of Marlborough, has stripped the land of its timber to raise money. Now, at this point, you might be wondering where I got the price tag of 80 million pounds from. Based on a ballpark estimate, in today's money, this property is worth between 60 to 80 million pounds. Construction finally began in 1877, and by 1880, the first section of the manor was completed. Ferdinand was so pleased with the progress that he hosted a lavish party with over 20 close friends, celebrating the night with fireworks and probably a few drinks. Just 3 years later, in 1883, the main house was finished. Sadly, Ferdinand passed away only 15 years later in 1898. Must have been the fireworks, I guess. Chapter 3. The Visionaries who took it further. When Ferdinand passed, his sister Alice de Rothschild stepped in to transform Waddesdon Manor. She wasn't just a caretaker, she was a true collector, importing treasures from all over Europe. French carpets, Mason porcelain, armors and more. Then came James aka Jimmy de Rothschild, who continued her legacy. In 1957, he donated the entire estate to the National Trust, ensuring that Waddesdon Manor would be preserved forever, and of course open to the public. Since then, it's been an iconic destination for visitors from all around the world. Filmmakers have recorded several movies at the manor. Here are just a few: The Mummy, Sherlock Holmes, The Queen. Remember when we talked about the Rothschilds' wine empire? But this is where it all ties together. Chapter 4. From wine to wine. Though the estates belong to the National Trust, the Rothschild family still manages it. Between 1990 and 1997, they added a state-of-the-art wine cellar to the estate. But wait, there's more. They actually produce wine from the land surrounding the manor and even sell it at their on-site restaurant. And get this, there are over 15,000 bottles stored in the cellars, some over 150 years old. Most of the wine comes from Chateau Lafite Rothschild and Chateau Mouton Rothschild, two of the most prestigious estates in the world. Speaking of wine, can you guess what's the cheapest wine produced by the Rothschild vineyard is? No? Let me help you out. Mouton Cadet can be bought for only $6.69, so apparently you don't have to be a Rothschild to afford a wine from the Rothschilds. What about the most expensive? I'm glad you ask. Chateau Lafite Rothschild. 1869 sells at auction for around $200,000 today, or roughly £154,000. But heads up, you can buy a slightly newer version of 2016 vintage for only around £9,653. Wow, what a steal! Besides the wine and the history of the family, do you know what makes Waddesdon Manor even more jaw-dropping? The architecture. Chapter 5. A masterpiece of architecture and art. The estate is a perfect blend of styles, from the neo-Renaissance central section to the Gothic bachelor's wing. It's a visual feast for the eye. But that's not all. The manor is also home to priceless treasures. Baron Ferdinand didn't just build a mansion, he filled it with incredible collection of 18th century English and French art. Paintings, tapestries, ceramics, furniture, and more. Some of the most amazing pieces include a 1774 elephant automaton and a rare Savers ship vases. Ferdinand even donated parts of his Renaissance collection to the British Museum. The Rothschild family has only continued to enrich the collection, making Waddesdon Manor a global art destination. Chapter 6. Gardens and Aviary. Thankfully, Baron Ferdinand de Rothschild was also an animal lover. What a coincidence! The estate features a bird aviary, home to species from Asia, Africa and South America, some of which, like the belly myna, are critically endangered. It's more than just a beautiful garden feature. The aviary actively participates in avian conservation and education, working with zoos and wildlife organizations. Beyond the aviary, Waddesdon Manor's gardens include stunning attractions such as the Rose Garden or the Daffodil Valley and many more scenic wonders. Honestly, the estate is so huge that walking through it in a single visit is quite a challenge. Thankfully, there's a coach bus that drops you right at the manor, so you don't have to walk all the way up from the car park. The estate is huge, covers around 2,400 acres of land, so naturally, it's quite easy to get lost. Luckily, all you have to do is go on Google Maps and zoom out a little bit and you will find a giant arrow pointing exactly towards the location of the manor. Chapter 7. Bonus. I highly recommend not only visiting the manor, but also taking some time to explore Waddesdon and its high street. You can discover its beautiful Victorian buildings, including the Five Arrow restaurant, which is a Grade II protected building. Needless to say, you can also try some of the wines from the estate. I had the privilege once of having a lunch there with my mom. Cheers, guys!